This is different from what I usually do, but I think it might be good to bring up. I personally use a GTX 1050 Ti for all my recordings. It limits some games that I could record, which isn't cool, but with all these new GPUs coming out, the two of you watching may think I would want to talk about those, but I don't have that kind of money, or any money, so I'll be talking about my 1050 Ti. Now you may think that the 1050 Ti, a graphics card from 2016, wouldn't do too good in most games. Well, you'd be right. But paired with a good CPU, it's a very viable option. I'm not saying you should buy it mainly because I know nothing about PCs, I'm just saying that it's pretty good. Pretty recently, I just got a new CPU, the Ryzen 5 3600, which is a 6-core 3.6 GHz CPU. And like I said, paired with a good CPU, the 1050 Ti is pretty good. I used to have an Intel i7 3770S, which sucked a lot more than I realized. My old CPU scores 2,891 on Cinebench, and my new CPU scored a 7190, which is just, kinda a little bit slightly better. In most of the games I play, the 1050 Ti gets over 60 FPS, but in some specific games such as Modern Warfare or Cold War, it gets around 40. I thought that it might have been because the CPU was doing all of the work, but actually, it's not. And when I look at Task Manager, my 1050 Ti is at a solid 100%. Which may sound bad, but it's not. Not only is the 1050 Ti very good at gaming, but it's also very power efficient, using only around 100 watts. So much so that it doesn't even need PCIe connectors. On release, the 1050 Ti was only $140, and for how well it runs some games released in 2021, that's pretty good. Not only can you play games in desktop mode, you can also play some games in VR, like Half-Life Alyx, Beat Saber, Job Simulator, Pavlov VR, and Phasmophobia at 45 to 90 FPS, which is the frame rate you want to be at to avoid nausea. Sadly, since it's not the best at keeping a solid 90 FPS, long VR sessions may make you motion sick. With all the new cards, the 1050 Ti is extremely obsolete. If you want to play games at over 1440p, you're kind of out of luck, because sometimes the 1050 Ti even has trouble hitting 1080p. If you want to play in over 1080p, you're not going to want to use the 1050, you're going to want something newer. If you're going to get a graphics card, don't get the 1050, it's just what I have. You should probably just wait a while and wait for the newer graphics cards to come back in stock, like the Nvidia's 3000 series and Ryzen 6000 series cards. Ending on that note, I'm going to let some footage that I recorded with my 1050 Ti play.